Okay, it's Sunday, and it's time to start thinking about what the markets are going to be presenting us this coming week. My intention is going to continue to be on paying attention to who the potential buyouts are. If you watched Saturday's video, you saw that I gave you 7 potentials. I need to apologize to you. One of them's already been bought out. That was Rite Aid. And then I liked the feedback I got. Somebody wrote and said, wouldn't get too excited about Under Armour, that they're a bit of a disaster, and their shoe line has had some reputation for injuring some of NBA basketball players. I don't know much about that, but that's good feedback. I'm still liking one that wasn't on that, but I had talked about it in an earlier video in the week, and that is Pinterest. I think Pinterest is very ripe because it's in a different category. It presents a myriad of pictures. It's got a library that would be very difficult to duplicate, and that's what I call a moat around its niche. And it would be they are doing some retail from that, but it would be, I think, a perfect match for Amazon, and I think that'll probably happen. Then, as far as what else is happening, I think we've got the White House is stepping in and seems to be taking over the stock market. We've got the TikTok issue, and the TikTok issue is turned into a TikTok 10-cent issue that Trump is saying he's actually going to ban both of those companies. And then TikTok and Tencent has turned around and filed a lawsuit that's going to be heard as recent as, or as current as maybe Tuesday, to block his ban. And all of this is just making Facebook as happy as they can be, because they had launched and tested in their Instagram platform Reels, and it's a imitation of TikTok. And they even went out and contacted a lot of the TikTok contributors and content producers, and are paying them a bounty to move over to Reels. And on top of that, they couldn't have gotten more publicity for their Reels launch than what President Trump has handed them. So that's something that's coming that way. Then you add to, I still think Facebook, even though it had a wonderful week last week, is undervalued. Its growth potential is just keeps growing as it moves into India, as it adds things to its arsenal. I think it is one of the benefactors of the coronavirus, and will continue to be a benefactor of the coronavirus. Even though eventually we believe this will go away, the ramifications of this thing is just going to go dramatically far, and I think you need to be aware of that. It's going to change our healthcare system. I'm going to do a follow-up video this next week on Apple and how Apple is just becoming a tiger in the healthcare market. And truly, as I will share with you, Tim Cook wants that to be, if you look back 25 years in the future and look back and say, what was Apple all about, or what is Apple all about? The first thing that's going to come to your mind is healthcare and the helping of people manage their health care. So Apple is, again, it's got to be in your portfolio, and it's got to be a part of what you're doing. Then the other issue that I'm watching, of course, is the stimulus package. It's they're both, the Republicans are saying, won't they meet us halfway? And as I understand it, what halfway is $2 trillion. The Republicans want to cut it back to $1 trillion, but they're willing to be halfway. And the Democrats want it at $3 million. I don't know where it is. I know that my daughter-in-law has a business, and she went out and got one of those paycheck loans, and it was forgivable if she used it for payroll, but none of her employees will come to work because they weren't making $600 a week with her. So now she's got this money that she can't put into payroll, and even though she's an employee, she can't pay herself with it. and she's kind of between a rock and a hard place. So I don't know what the right price is. I have heard it should be a percentage of your last year's income. Well, if you can do that, the United States government, then do it. If you can get that kind of data to your unemployment offices around the United States that gives them the formula and the numbers to go into the formula for every citizen in the United States of what they paid and what 70% of their payroll on a weekly basis would be, go for it. But I honestly don't think you can get it done, so I don't know why you're talking about it. So those are the things I'm watching, and I think that we saw a pullback on technology on Friday, and that's okay. We had a good run going into Friday, and a movement of money towards the Dow and the S&P, and that's good because we can't have a one-sided market. We can't have a lopsided market where there are 5, 6, 7, 10 stocks that are just roaring up, and all your value stocks and all your international stocks and your emerging markets just aren't doing any good. That isn't sustainable. So don't be greedy and say, I want my stocks up every day. Understand that you are investing. If you're investing based on what I subscribe to and what I suggest you subscribe to, and that the Best of Us Investors tribe subscribes to, is identify where we are in the world's economy today and where the economy is going and what is driving the economy. Now, in order to know all that, you need to read. You need to start with how we got to here is Peter Zion's The Accidental Superpower. If you don't understand what happened right after World War II and the meeting of the Allies and how they decided who was going to form what part of the function to create world economy and safe world economy, and then if you don't understand the demographic imbalances in a number of countries, important countries, and how that's going to affect the marketing and the growth of their individual markets, and if you don't understand the border conflicts that are going to happen because some people don't have access to the seas and other peoples do, if you don't understand those things, you aren't going to understand what's going on and what your president currently is trying to do. And then the second book you got to read is The Big Nine. And you've got to understand artificial intelligence. And you need to understand that the marketing decisions that many of these companies are making now are not market based on, well, this is what went off the shelf this week. And they're made based on your activities on the internet. It goes back to 1992 when you opened up the first Google search on your account, and Google asked you, can we track this information? And you said, sure, go ahead, track it. It's all right. And then you went to Facebook a couple years later and opened up an account when Mark allowed you. And he said, do you mind if we keep track of where your pictures and where you traveled? And you said, sure, that's okay. Well, and Apple did the same thing, and Amazon's done the same thing. And Amy Webb will explain to you how this is the gold of the future. And this is what everything is going to be built on as we move through the future. And then you say, well, yeah, but what does the future look like? What is that going to be all about? Well, that's when you have to read The Future is Faster Than You Think. And this will give you a window that you could just open up and say, oh, that's what healthcare is going to look like. Oh, that's what insurance is going to look like. And that's what education is going to look like. And the internal cost of combustion engine's going away. And you'll start to figure out why the things that are happening and how you can position yourself to take advantage of what's going to happen next. It's really not that difficult if you educate yourself. If you're knowledgeable of what you're doing. But if you compare yourself, and please do compare yourself to performing open heart surgery, because the game you're playing in is not full of a bunch of amateurs. There are some very astute professionals in here that have computers that you're trading against. And if you think you can beat them, and then you've got the wolves of Wall Street. I mean the you people who are sucked into this Kodak stuff and this lemonade stuff, Kodak and lemonade, and Nicola. Come on, folks. These are bright, shiny objects that don't shine long, and they are you are being manipulated to empty your pockets. And if you don't do this, you deserve to have your pockets emptied. You don't deserve to play in this game. You cannot be a professional baseball player without practicing every day. You cannot be a professional gambler without practicing every day. There is nothing that you can do and do well and not practice. So don't just think you can show up and ride in with Robin Hood and walk away with a bag of gold. It just doesn't happen. You've got to know where you're going. And again, if you want to take a shortcut, the big nine, they're going to rule the world. And Congress isn't going to stop them. So don't go any further than that. Pay attention to what they're going to buy. Watch the videos, like the videos, subscribe to the videos, ring the bell, do all the magical stuff so that we can build a tribe that comes to me and says, hey, Kerry, you said that Amazon might buy Rite Aid. Walmart or Walgreens bought them a couple of weeks ago. That's the beauty of what this is. I'm going to make mistakes, but you're going to step in and correct me. You're going to step in and say, living goes good, and it may run up. But when Apple wants to duplicate it, they will. And I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to go do a video next week where Tim Cook basically comes out and says that Apple is going to change your life, and you aren't going to think about it for iTunes or iWatch or your iPhone. You're going to say, my God, they changed healthcare. They changed the way we live, and they extended our lives. That's what's happening. You have the opportunity to buy Apple, to buy Google, to buy Facebook, to buy Amazon, to buy Tesla, and maybe even IBM. You have an opportunity to do that. And you need to go after it. And you need to recognize it and be a part of it, because they're going to change the world you live in.